Okay, so good morning to everyone. Now, today we will first see about the thing that is in the multiprocessor system, that is the MIMD. Now we have seen the SIMD, that is the single instruction multiple data. Now this is the MIMD, multiple instruction multiple data. Now MIMD system architecture, it is of three types. Three types of architecture are present in the MIMD system. What are the three types of the architecture? Sorry, the three types of architecture is uniform memory access model, which is the name we can stands for the UMA, that uniform memory access model. The second one is the non-uniform memory access model, that is short abbreviation form, that is the NUMA. And the third one is the cache only memory architecture, or we can say its name as COMA. So UMA, NUMA and COMA, these are the three types of MIMD system architecture. Now we will discuss one by one each architecture. So first we will discuss UMA, that is Uniform Memory Access Model. Now here you will see that this is the interconnected. This is an interconnection network present. This is the interconnection network there will be, and here there will be the n number of processor present. You see from P1, P2 to Pn. That means total n number of processor are present. And this n number of processor are connected to the interconnection network. And this interconnection network is connected with a memory. And this memory is divided into as the memory module. So this processor, there will be n number of processor, and this n number of processor will connected with the interconnection network, and this interconnection network will connected to the shared memory, and this shared memory is divided as a memory modules from M1 to Mn. So this shared memory is divided as the memory modules, which is of from M1 to Mn number of memory modules present in it. So basically it is the system belongs to the MIMD class of computers, and a collection of several computers or CPUs are connected through an interconnection to form the multiple computer system. Now this system can be of three types: UMA, NUMA and COMA. So UMA, first type, that is UMA, that all the processor can access the physical main memory uniformly. That means here all the processor are connected with this shared memory, and this shared memory is divided as the memory module, and all of the processor can access this all the memory modules. That means this shared memory, all the processor can access uniformly, and each processor can have equal access time to all the memory words. That means all the processor have all the memory modules, that because our shared memory is divided as the memory modules, and the processor has the permission that it can access each memory modules, and the accessing time of the memory modules should be same for all the processor. That's why it is called uniform memory access model, because all the processor access time of the memory module is same. That means if P1 processor is accessing the memory module M1, let's say, in that meantime P2 is accessing the memory module M2. That means if P1 takes, let's say we are using 3, let's say accessing time, that is 3 unit, let's say, then P2 will access the memory module 2 and it will have same access time, that is 3 unit. So that means all the processors that are present there, each accessing the memory module, so accessing of the memory module time should be same for all of them. This is that's why it is called uniform memory access model. And Each processor may use private cache peripherals. That means in each processor it can have a cache memory also, and also share this particular fashion. That means a particular way this caches should be present to a processor, and that's why this particular architecture is called tightly coupled architecture due to the higher degree of resource sharing. So all the resources are shared, so higher degree of resource sharing is there. So that's why we call this as the tightly coupled architecture. We call them tightly coupled architecture. So remembering the points, access time, memory access time for each processor should be same, and here in them processor, for processor a cache memory should be present. That may happen that each processor can have a cache memory, and they are what, they are as a particular fashion, they are shared. So that's why it is called tightly coupled architecture, and it is has the higher degree of resource sharing. Then the next type, that is NUMA, non-uniform memory access model. That means all processors memory access time should not be the same. That's why it is said NUMA, non-uniform memory access model. Now it is another type of distribution memory access system. That is, a local memory is attached with each processor. Here a local memory, each processor has its own local memory. You see that each processor is connected with the interconnection network. That means P1 is connected with the interconnection network, P2 is also connected with the interconnection network, Pn is also connected with this interconnection network, and each processor has its own local memory. That is P1 like that has LM1, this local memory has. For P2 it has LM2. We are assuming that, let's say that P2 processor has own local memory and its name is LM2, and PN processor has its own local memory, that is LMN. So each processor has its own local memory, and all this local memory are distributed throughout the system from a local physical. We can say these local memories are what, all these local memories are distributed throughout the system from global physical main memory, and each processor can individually access their own local memory. So that means this processor P1 will only access LM1, its own local memory. LM1 cannot be accessed by the P2 processor because it is the own local memory of P1. So P1 will only access this own local memory, but P2 will not have the permission to access this local memory M1, or P2 doesn't have the permission to access this P1 local memory LMN. It is not. P2 will only able to access its own local memory, that is LM2, only that. Other local memory it cannot be accessed. So that's why it is said that each and every processor can individually access their own local memory, and so the possibility of the resource conflict cannot be happen, because the possibility of the resource conflict will not happen here, because the processor will only access its own local memory. Other processors local memory it will not able to access. Then there is not resource sharing option or conflict of resource, it is not happening. So that's why this particular architecture we called as a loosely coupled architecture. In here there is no problem of resource conflict, because each processor will only access its own local memory, only that. It will not access the shared memory, and there will be the memory modules. So in that case the problem may happen that, let's say P1 processor, in this meantime of UMA, that P1 processor is accessing the memory module in M1. In that meantime P2 processor has say that P2 processor wants to access this memory module M1. P2 processor will want to access the memory module 1. In that meantime it requires, then the resource conflict is happening. But here in NUMA, it is not like that, because only all the processor will only access its own local memory. So that's why it is the, we can say that there will be the no problem of the resource conflict in this NUMA, and we called it as the loosely coupled architecture. And the third one is COMA. Third one we say as the COMA, that is the cache only memory architecture. Now cache only memory architecture is basically like the same as of our NUMA, non-uniform memory access. Only the difference is what, instead of the local memory, here it will be cache. Here it will only be the cache. So processor P1 has cache C1, processor P2 has cache C2, processor Pn has cache Cn. In that case, that means in NUMA we have seen that there is a local memory present, but here we are seeing that instead of the local memory, the cache memory is present. So that's why this is called, it is the special type of the NUMA model. It is a special type of the NUMA model, the distributed memory, the local memory which we have seen in our NUMA architecture, non-uniform memory access architecture. In that it is converted to the cache memory here. So instead of the local memory, we use here the cache memory, and all the cache are attached to the processor from global physical address space. It is also a loosely coupled model. So these are the three types. This now it is a special type. COMA is a special type of the NUMA, special type of non-uniform memory access. The working are same, that here also the same working principle of NUMA, but only difference is their local memory we are using, but here we are using, instead of the local memory, the cache memory. And it is also the loosely coupled system, loosely coupled model, we say that. Okay, clear? It is clear to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is the, we can say the cache MIMD model of our cache in three types of this MIMD system architecture. Now we will move a topic that is, so basically in the computer architecture part, now we computer architecture. So architecture part is basically, that means, because in the syllabus this is up to architecture part. So now we will again start from the computer organization part. So in computer organization we have left the interrupt concept and addressing mode. I know that I have left that, so I will discuss now one by one of this. Architecture part, it is all up to that. Architecture part is already completed. Now the part which left in the computer organization, we will discuss one by one. The first topic of this computer organization part which we left, that is the IO interface, input output interface concept. Now through diagram you will see that input output interface is what you see here. There is a processor present, so we know that all of the system will have a processor. Now this processor is what, this processor has bus. So we know that in our system we have bus, and this bus are the three types: data bus, address bus, and control bus. These three types of bus we know. These three types of bus are present. Now the processor will be connected with this bus, and here you see we have used an interface. This is what, this is the input output device: keyboard and display terminal, printer, magnetic disk. It is all of that. this is the input output device. Now this input output device is what? This input output device is connected with the processor using the interface. Using the interface, this input output device are connected to the processor. Now peripheral devices, or we can say input output devices, are connected with the CPU or the processor through bus. And bus, we know that bus contains data bus, address bus, and control bus. Three types of bus are present in our system. But processors are connected with the peripheral device or this input output device via the interface. Via the interface, they are connected. Now, what is the purpose of using this interface then? Because we can say we can directly connect input output device to the processor, it may be connected. Then what is the purpose of using this interface? The purpose of using the interface is actually it works like a translator. It works like a translator or a converter. Now, why the interface is used? Now the interface used basically for the speed factor. Now our processor, we know that when I have discussed that in the cache memory organization, in that time I have discussed that there will be the CPU present, and with that CPU a cache memory will be associated. Then there is the RAM, and after that there is the secondary memory present. So like this, because we know that our processor or the processor speed is very much fast, whether in comparison to our, if we compare with our secondary memory speed is much less. So that's why to main the normalization of this factor, we can say to normalize this factor, we use the interface. Now speed is basically the main factor. Speed is basically the main factor because our processor works on the speed of MIPS, that means million instruction per second. In million instruction per second, our processor works. But our peripheral devices or the input devices which we use are very much slow. Now, if you generally, if you think, then in per second, if we use our input output device as the keyboard, let's say if we use the input output device as a keyboard, then you think how many keys you can press, at a single second. Maximum, if you very much speed in your hand, then also you can press maximum 3-4 keys or 5 keys. That is much. In second you can only press 3-4 keys, like that. But our CPU is working what? In per second, multiple or million instruction per second, million instruction it is processing or executing. Whereas if we give as our input output device, if we use the our keyboard, then we can only press 3-4 keys at that particular moment. Or we can say if we use the printer, in that case, per second very limited number of page can be printed. Or if we use a magnetic disk or hard disk, that means it works on the millisecond. It will work over only in the millisecond. That means the speed of this input output device is very low compared to the processor. So if we directly use that, means if we do not use the interface concept, if we didn't here, let's say we didn't use the interface here, also it didn't use the interface, and here also it didn't use the interface, that means all the input output device if directly connected to the processor, then the problem will happen. So if it will be directly connected, if it will be directly connected, then that happened that the CPU will send data very fast, but the peripheral device could not able to access the data so fast. Or the vice versa is what? If from the input output device, the data we are sending, that time the CPU has to wait for the data to come, because it will sit as the ideal, because CPU speed is much more, but input output device speed is very less. So going that data from input output device to the CPU will wait maximum amount of time, and after that time CPU will receive the data. So this is the problem in case if the data is flowing from input output device to the CPU. But if the data is flowing from CPU or the processor to the input output device, in that case CPU will send the data as very fast that input output device could not handle that data. So this will be the problem happen. So to normalization, that to make this speed normalization or speed properly, synchronized interface is used. That means interface will act as the synchronization purpose between the speed of this CPU and the CPU or processor and the input output device or the peripherals. Now why this it will able to handle that interface? Because interface contains a multiple registers. Interface will contain, inside of this interface there will be the multiple registers present. Now example, if we take that, if a keyboard, in case a keyboard data are serially taken, now that means from keyboard the data will be taken serially. That means one by one the data will come. So first key pressed, that means a data go, then second key pressed, then the data go, then third key pressed, another data go. So interface will collect the data, because input output device is slow, so that means interface will collect the data serially from one by one it will collect the data. But when it will send the data to the processor, in that case it will send the data parallelly. So that means when it will collect the data, in that time it is working like the input output device's speed. So that means when the data will be collected, it will collect in the serial way, so that the speed it will match with the input output device. But when it will send the data, in that time it will send parallelly, so it will send all the data parallelly in one time. So that means because processor speed is high, so to match up with, the interface will send the data in the high speed, or we can say that interface will send the data parallelly. So that's why it is what this interface is working like a synchronization, that serially the input will be taken, and parallelly with faster speed it will provide the data to the CPU to match the speed. So basically this is the main reason we use the interface concept. The interface is used basically for this synchronization of speed. Now the other thing are also present, but this is the main reason we use the interface. Now the other reason why we use the interface, the second type is the device nature. Now our main memory, CPU, are the electrical devices. Our main memory and the CPU which we have are the electrical device, but the keyboard is electromechanical device. Magnetic disk is the electromagnetic device. So the device, the input output device, it is another type. Main memory, CPU, they are the electrical devices, but our keyboard is an electromechanical device. Our magnetic disk is the electromagnetic device. So if the devices are different, then the signal will be different, because the signal which is present in the electrical device, that particular signal will not be the for the electromagnetic device or the electromechanical device. The signal will be different. Now for signal conversion we need circuit. Interface are used for that. Interface is used for the signal conversion also. So to match up these signals, the interface is used. Then the third type is the data format. In data format kits also, our interface is used. Now data words or the format size is what? Generally, the CPU or the processor, that is what we can say 32-bit, 64-bit, like this. But our keyboard is what? Maximum 8 word or 8 byte. So data format size is different. In that case also, this is providing the normalization. That means this interface will act as between them to normalize that, because our CPU is working 32-bit or 64-bit, but our keyboard is what? Our keyboard is only for 8 byte. So this is the thing. That's why we also use for data format synchronization also, the interface is used. And the last reason, this is that these 4 reasons, we have these 4 reasons we use the interface in our system. The last one is those peripheral device working is also different with one another. Now that is, printer working is not the same as the keyboard working, because through keyboard we type and put the data so that this data can go and the data will be processed and we'll see the output. This is the keyboard function. Now the function of the we can say the function of our printer, it is not the same as the keyboard, and also the function of our magnetic disk or hard disk is not same as the keyboard function or the, we can say, our printer function. So that means functions are also different. All of the input output devices function is different. That means it is not like that all the input output device has the same function. All the input output devices functions are different. And now for making that, we require different logic, because functions are different. Then we have to use different logic for that. And for making this different logic, different peripherals unnecessary utilization occurs. For making this different logic for different peripherals, we require unnecessary utilization. We will have the unnecessary utilization and it will happen. That's why also the interface is used. The interface is used for that purpose also. That is the 4 types we have seen. For this reason, in our system, we use the interface. First one is what? First one is the speed. Second one is the device nature. Third one is what? Third one is the data format. And fourth one is related to the function. So for this reason, for this total 4 reason, we use the interface in our system. Okay. Sorry. So it is clear. It is clear to everyone.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So this is the our interface concept. Now today I will not start that interrupt concept. In next class we will start the interrupt concept. The interrupt concept, we will see the 2 types of interrupt are there: serial interrupt and the parallel interrupt. And in that we call the serial interrupt as a daisy chaining. We name it as a daisy chaining parallel serial interrupt, we say that. And parallel interrupt we will also see. And the addressing modes, which we have, we'll see in the next class. And your internal examination syllabus that I have already explained, in your internal syllabus, the up to VLIW instruction, will be in your syllabus, and the question format should be 10 into 1. So that means 10 questions should be there, 1 number 10 questions, and 2 marks questions, 5 questions will be present for 2 marks. So 10 into 1 and 5 into 2. So 10 plus 10, 20 marks exam will be there. 1 marks questions will be 10 numbers and 2 marks questions will be 5 numbers. And basically two numbers question I will give. Basically I am saying that, but basically some mathematical should be there. Now this mathematical part will be for in the LRU. I have shown some mathematics regarding LRU, FIFO, then direct addressing, direct mapping, sorry, direct not addressing, direct mapping, set associative mapping, and our QA set associative, fully associative, then direct mapping. Regarding there will be the 2 marks question, some mathematics part should be there. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So now all of you please present. I will call out your names one by one. So please respond. Okay. I will mark your attendance. So first Abhishek Kumar Verma.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Aditya Kumar Pandey.
Yes, sir.
Akash Aman.
Yes, sir.
Anamika Toppo.
Yes, sir.
Aniket Singh.
Yes, sir.
Apeksha.
Yes, sir.
Babita.
Present, sir.
Ritik.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Chandni.
Yes, sir.
Kajal.
Yes, sir.
Muskan.
Present, sir.
Nidhi.
Yes, sir.
Pooja. Pooja Kumari. Pooja Prantika.
Yes, sir.
Rahil.
Yes, sir.
Rahil. Ranjit.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay. Ravi Shankar Thakur.
Yes, sir.
Sachin Yadav.
Yes, sir.
Sanjay Pingua. Sanjay. Savitri.
Yes, sir.
Shivam.
Yes, sir.
Shiaram.
Yes, sir.
Suvadeep.
Yes, sir.
Tamanna.
Yes, sir.
Tania.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So then, thank you everyone. Now the your next class will be after the internal examination. So from Saturday, from 18th, your internal examination will be there. So after that, your next class will happen. So internal examination will be from 18 to 24. So after that, the class will be gone or will happen. So then this is much, and that is the syllabus we have already said, that up to VLIW instruction. So prepare over that. हाँ बोलो रेहान.
So we don't have a compiler designing teacher.
Yes.
We have it
We
started.
know that we do not have that teacher, because in previous semester that subject is taken by the Sunil sir. So Sunil sir have been not there, so that's why this subject is not happen. So we are discussing that, our HOD ma'am will say, because we have discussed this problem with our HOD ma'am. So she will say, she will with what there will be happen, we will inform that. Nothing to worry, we will inform that. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, then thank you everyone. I am ending the session.
Thank you, sir.